Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. On this one we're going to be looking at the worst times to sell a stock. So let's jump straight in. Now before we jump into the worst times to sell a stock, I just want to say this is all my opinion. Obviously lots of other people think different ways, but hopefully you can take some value from this. Maybe it'll spark something in your brain towards, oh, should I be selling the stock at this certain point? So yeah, I do stress this is all my opinion, and make sure you stay to the end for some exceptions that I also have. There's like a little bit of kind of like rules, I suppose. So yeah, stay to the end for those, and obviously make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate that. If you like this kind of investing based content, really do appreciate it. Obviously smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. So let's jump into the worst times to sell a stock. So the first worst time to sell a stock is actually when you've just bought a stock. So I've done it in the past, especially in the beginning months, where I've bought, say for example, Tesla. This is not an accurate example, but I'm just using it as an example. When I bought Tesla for maybe like £100, and then it immediately drops down 2%, I'm thinking, whoa, what did I buy? So then I panic sell, and then I take out that and I lose about $2. Well, £2 in my currency, but that is the panic selling. So I'm not quite switched on enough. Maybe I don't know enough about the investment. So you need to kind of knuckle down, do your research on that particular company. Obviously, in this case, it would be Tesla. And obviously we are knowing that they're built for the future. So you've got to have that in mind when you're investing, and don't get too scared about the initial drop, because that will happen, because you can't time the market perfectly. You can't get in and immediately green. Sometimes it does happen, but obviously sometimes it doesn't happen. More than likely it won't happen. It's happened to me every time I've got into an investment, a long-term investment, but I've had the mindset of I'm investing this for the long term. So I need to wait for those greens over the years and years. I'm not going to get panic sold if I go 10% down. That's just part of investing. So that's number one, panic selling after you've just bought a stock. Now this next one is purely circumstantial, and it's a bit of a broad kind of subject, but on a red day. Don't sell a stock on a red day. Now you might be thinking, what are you talking about, Shaun? Well, if the market is dropping down 3-4% over the last couple of days, which it has been recently, but obviously I want this video to kind of be evergreen, so I'm not going to talk about the recent times too much. But what I mean about a red day is if you're, it's similar to panic selling, I suppose, but if you've held a stock that you're holding for the long term for 2+3 years, let's go for Etsy, for example. We've had a few red days recently, and you don't want to sell it because it is your long-term stock, but you feel like you might have to because you don't want to limit the losses. Now, we'll go into detail on that with the exceptions, but with the long-term stocks, you're just going to have to ride it out and believe in your investment. And if anything, you need to add to it if you can, obviously, money permitting. So that's another worst time to sell a stock, and that's on a red day. Bit of a broad one, but I hope you can kind of get my thesis on that one. So the next worst time to sell a stock, I need to word that a little bit better, is just in a distressed market with peak FUD, which is fear, uncertainty and doubt. So at the moment we've got a few kind of catalysts or negative catalysts in the market, but we won't go over those because, like I said, I want this to be evergreen. And you just have to, if the market's dipping like 5-10% like a normal correction does, it does happen quite often. I'll find some sort of graph, I'll stick it up here for you, of kind of how regular these corrections and crashes happen. And it is part of investing, it is what it is when it comes to that. But you don't want to sell your stocks in this kind of midst of fear, because that's where you're going to go wrong, and that's when you're going to be panic selling, and the fear is going to be getting the better of you, and that's what a lot of weak retail investors do, because they don't know much about the market. They're just jumping in because everyone's telling them to go, oh yeah, this chunk of money and all the stocks go up forever. That's just not how it works. If anything, like I said in the last tip, you want to add to it if you can. So you want a dollar cost average, which is a very common term within investing, and you just want to add to it slowly but surely. I've got a friend who actually puts in money every week. It's a small amount, but it really adds up over time. You can really see that in the last kind of 4 or 5 months or so when I've spoken to him. And you can see the gains already within this S&P 500, because that's his main investment. But you can see the gains like really quite consistently, and it just goes to show it doesn't really matter when you put it in, as long as you put it in very consistently, every month, every week, however you want to do it, every quarter, some people do. But yeah, just stay consistent and just believe in your long-term investments. I feel like I got slightly off subject there, but that one was obviously due to overall market uncertainty, and we just want to kind of buy through it, even through a crash. So for example, the 2020 crash, it went 30-40% down. If you just buy through it, so if it's on its way down and you're buying here, then you're going to be buying on the way up as well, because obviously that's how the kind of consistency rolls. So then obviously you'll be buying up, so here, 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 here. So your average price might actually be right in the middle of this V. So imagine a V of the crash, so it goes woof down and it comes back up again. As an example, your average price might be here, which is still better than being up here. So then your average price is lower, therefore your investments grow further. I hope that makes sense, guys, and obviously leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and I'm happy to answer them. So I'm not the best at explaining things, but I do try my best. Now, just to interrupt this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below if you're taking any value from this, and obviously leave a comment down below as I just alluded to, and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. I really do appreciate that, guys. Now, this next tip is actually related to some technical analysis on the worst times to sell a stock. Now, in my opinion, there's lots of other different factors, lots of other different indicators that can show you the worst time to sell a stock, but the main one for me is RSI. Now, if you don't know what RSI is, I do have a video that you can watch in the top right hand corner, as well as my technical analysis playlist as well, that you can learn about all technical analysis basics. I'm not a genius with it, but I know the basics, and it has been working very well in the past for me. So go check out that RSI video, I really do appreciate that. Now, just a summary of that kind of video and what I'm about to talk about here is basically it reaches a certain point where it shows you on technical analysis where it's become oversold, and that's not really where you want to sell it. Now, if it goes below that particular line and you want to sell more, then it's more than likely got to turn up, because that's what the RSI does. It indicates to day traders and the swing traders that it's oversold. So that's when people normally jump in, and then it might come back up again, maybe halfway up the RSI, or maybe even at the top. So you do actually really want to be selling your stocks at the top of the RSI, because that's when it's become overbought. Now, obviously, go ahead and watch that video to get a little bit more insight, but obviously if you do know about RSI, then you know what I'm talking about there. Now, well done for making it this far. I hope you kind of resonated with the 4 things that I've just chosen for you. I'll stick them up on the screen for you here so you can kind of recap yourselves. Now, I just want to go through some exceptions which I do think could be quite important within your investing. So some things to note down, maybe write them down on a bit of paper if you don't know them already, of course, but let's just go through some exceptions. So I've got a few of them here. Now, this is all obviously personal dependent, whatever your risk levels are, that kind of thing. So again, as I alluded to in the beginning of the video, this is all my opinion. It's nothing to do with kind of general market philosophy. It's just my thoughts, and maybe you might be able to take something from it. So first up, we've got risk transfer. So if you need to sell a stock when it's red, or if it's partially red or quite a lot red, and you want to add it to like a longer term kind of higher conviction play. So for example, if I went from an IZEA, which is a penny stock, into Palantir, which I'm holding for 5, 10 plus years, then I might just think about taking that money out of IZEA, or even partially, and then putting it into Palantir if Palantir is a very good price. So that leads into my next point, which is obviously opportunities. Now, if you see an opportunity, it could be a reason for you to sell a stock at a particularly bad time, for example, to go into that. So Apple at like $100, which I think is currently around 160, 150. So that would be an incredible opportunity, because you might see that stock, which has had proven in the past. It's got the revenue, it's got the products, and the stock will be going up over the next 5 to 10 years, because that's just what Apple does. Now, that is an example of an opportunity that you could take. It could be something to think of. So far we've just gone over risk transfer, which I do actually have a video in the top right hand corner. It's all about risk transfer. It's a little bit old, but it still has some very good values in there. So go check that one out. So yeah, risk transfer, and obviously just an incredible opportunity could be reasons for you to sell a stock at a particularly bad time. Now, this next one is a little bit more related to emotions, emotional trading, and that is simply as being uncomfortable with the amount of money that you have in the market. Now, if you're losing sleep at night, or you're worrying about your investments, oh, it keeps going down, it keeps going down, maybe just take a little bit off your investments, even if it's in the red, even if it's like 10, 15% down, just take a little bit back, put it back into your bank, feel a little bit safer about your monetary situation. If that's a word. Is that a word? I don't know. Monetary situation sounds good to me. So it makes you feel a little bit better, a little bit safer. It makes you sleep better at night knowing that you've got that money safe. Yes, you've taken a little bit of a loss, but it may just make you feel a little bit more emotionally stable. So those are my exceptions. I'll stick them up on the screen for you. I hope you can kind of relate to them, see where I'm coming from. If you've got any more that you might be able to think about, obviously stick it in the comments down below. Really do appreciate that. If you took value from this, make sure you hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. It shows it to more and more people around YouTube. So I do think people do kind of struggle with investing at first, at least, and it's important to get these kind of emotional psychology kind of messages out there, because there's lots of people that say buy, 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 and I'm not about that. Obviously I do give you information with different stocks and what could be potential good for the future, but that's just part of this channel. Invest for your future is my motto, so I like to try and give you ideas for the future. Anyway, I'm getting off subject. So yes, hopefully this video helped you out. I really do appreciate you watching, guys. Invest safe, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. It's weirdly bright, even though it's not actually bright. Coffee.